Before we begin, I want to say this next video is a gift for the lovely torches, that beautiful flame which dispels the darkness. Hope you enjoy, sweetie. For full context, I didn't like Undertale. I felt that it was trying far too hard to be subversive and special. As someone who already thinks all art is special, it really got on my nerves. Undertale wanted to say important things about games as a medium and who we are as people, but did it in a rather bland, outwardly agreeable fashion. It felt focus tested to be the most lovable video game ever made. And Deltarune Chapter 1, I'm happy to say, isn't quite like that. To be clear, there are still plenty of places where the overwhelming itch to be obnoxiously cheeky is just too much for the game to bear, and I was certainly groaning when it inevitably gave in to its more childish whims. But on average, it's a smarter, deeper game with a more realistic outlook on kindness, empathy, and friendship. If only barely so. But improvements are improvements, and almost everything here is better. The combat has much more depth this time around thanks to the addition of a party system and the greater influence characterization has on the battles. The challenge is almost non-existent, to be sure, but we get a more varied gameplay experience where the emotional hooks dig deeper into the mechanics. Ludonarrative dissonance is at a minimum, barring the few moments where the game all but farts on the fourth wall. As to the storytelling, it's something of a response to Undertale. Deltarune recognizes Undertale's themes were a bit juvenile, simplified, and overly optimistic. As such, there's now a greater focus on not only the power of human agency, but its limitations. You can't just roam around making friends with everyone you see this time, and there's very little immediate payoff to any kindness you share. It takes a long time and a lot more effort to create change. This heightened maturity is by far Deltarune's biggest advantage over its predecessor. But that maturity has its limitations. While the characters and writing are far more realistic in comparison to the author's previous work, it is still sorely lacking in the greater world of postmodern media. The things Deltarune Chapter 1 says have been said before, been said better, and most importantly, been said more subtly. This game really beats you over the head with its themes, and some of the dialogue felt straight out of a Saturday morning cartoon. That's not a dig at Saturday morning cartoons, but instead an acknowledgement that Deltarune is at least passable in communicating its themes in a simplistic, if overbearing, fashion. I liked it more than I disliked it, and I appreciate its apparent self-awareness, but it's still too bland and agreeable in quite a few places. I look forward to seeing the changes made in Chapter 2.